things, these are type of qualities that you need to develop to be a successful entrepreneur or business owner. Even if your business is very much a self-employed type of thing, it's still, you have to have that discipline. You have to take responsibility for your decision.
Yeah, I think it comes back to like, we're very transparent from day one. It's not, if you sign up for this program, you're guaranteed 10k or 5k grants. We let our members know that don't come just for the money.
Yes.
That's not the right mindset. And like you said, we're not like a business that will say, if we can't help you, we're not going to tell you if we can. We're very, we're very quick to say, oh, we know someone who could help you, guide them in the right way. What should people, what kind of value should they be looking for when signing up to the program? And what should they be expecting?
So the biggest thing I would say is...
In today's episode, I'm joined by Rosalyn, Head of Outreach and Engagement at Trampoline, and Niraj, Head of Programs at Trampoline. We dive into who Trampoline is, what we do, and how we deliver effective business incubation support to entrepreneurs in our community. We also discuss the importance of truly understanding our target audience, recognizing their challenges, meeting them where they are, and designing programs that are both flexible and highly valuable. Plus, we explore why this work matters, how Trampoline can support you on your entrepreneurial journey, and the range of programs and opportunities we offer.
So guys, welcome to Trampoline's podcast. So today we're just going to get into a little bit about Trampoline, what we do, how we do it, top down. And so let's start by introducing ourselves. So I've got Niraj and Rosalyn here today. Niraj, if you just want to introduce yourself to viewers who might not know who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Niraj. I'm the Head of Programs at Trampoline. So I basically run all of our business support and incubation programs. You might have seen me if you're part of our cohort or someone graduated recently.
So my name is Rosalyn. I'm Head of Outreach Engagement. So that's what it does on a tin. So I'm the person, and my team, we go out and we onboard people in, go out and meet the community, go and do outreach, meet with other organisations, connect with them, let them know who we are, let them know what our programs we're running. Also, the engagement part is getting people interested and known about our new enterprise hub. So spreading information, inviting people around to tour, just getting the whole engagement, touching base, making people aware of who we are and what we do.
Yeah. So, just to start today's episode, if we just talk a little bit about what Trampoline does, and some viewers might not know what we actually do. So, what would you say Trampoline actually does?
Oh, as Niraj indicated, we do incubation support. We support people who from those who are just kind of got an idea or feeling about starting some sort of initiative business, to those who have got businesses and want to scale up, or they want to bring on employees. So we go from the vast range, but we're very much targeted to those who normally don't get access to these type of knowledge and information, advice and support. So the people in the unserved communities, those who are unserved because of financial reasons, are unserved because of family and health demands, unserved because of language barrier, cultural barrier, ethnicity, age, all these different levels. So we're providing a service that other organisations maybe not targeting towards their people, they may be targeting towards other people, and also that we're offering the service fully funded, which is obviously unusual, and we want to make sure it goes to the right people. So it's from the very start, just, so people can know about what it is to be a business owner, what it is to be entrepreneur, what does that entail, the real details, the nitty-gritty pieces of information that people do really need, where they can access funding, all those sort of things, and getting them to kind of understand the type of commitment it takes. So they show how we can show their commitment is through them joining our programs, which is quite a lengthy program, aren't they, Niraj?
Yeah.
Very unusual.
Yeah.
Normally a lot of programs are 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 4 weeks. Ours is 9-month program or 6-month program. So, but that shows a kind of commitment to actually wanting to invest within themselves to invest in their business. Would like to add?
Yeah, I think when people talk about trampoline, most of the time what they say is the accessibility of our program to people that would be intimidated by some of the bigger incubation programs. So we're not trying to create millionaires here. We're just trying to work with people that want to understand the fundamentals about running a business, who might have kids, who might have other commitments, and just want to do a business on the side or kind of polish their ideas, looking to operationalize their business. So essentially what we do is we give them enough time to implement some of those ideas that we teach them, but it's not too intensive that they have to do it like a course, but it's intensive enough that you get the fundamentals, so you're ready. Come 5-6 months or 9 months in the program, you are ready. You have your fundamentals, you've done your plan, you've done your operational plan, you've already registered your business or now thinking about registering. If you are someone that came on as a registered business, you're now ready to operationalize yourselves, look at systems and procedures and policies, those kind of things. So I would say Trampoline is a provider who makes business support less challenging and less intimidating.
And more accessible, because we try and be also flexible in terms of the delivery of the program. So the actual master classes, we offer them both online, in person, and then we know that people are working. They have to work.
Yeah.
Full time. We're getting more and more full time people working who wouldn't be able to do this type of program if it wasn't that we had pre-recorded or they could do it online. And we don't make it like Niraj said, too intensive that it's beyond your capacity with other responsibilities. So I think it's that accessibility.
Yeah.
And it's in, the heart of a borough. Our biggest program is in the borough of Southwark, though we do programs in other boroughs. So it gives people access, and then, knowing that we're here, they can call us, we have business surgeries, there's different ways they can touch points with us as well. It's not like just the program and that's it. After that, we're not interested. We have other activities. We've had pop-up markets. We do networking events and different things that enable people to connect with us. Even if they don't go in our program, they can connect to us in different ways. And we have a newsletter as well, don't we?
Yeah, we have a newsletter, has all the resources, there's funding opportunities, networking events, training sessions. Find it all in the newsletter, and obviously what Trampoline's up to. So, like you mentioned, Rosa, we target a specific audience. Why do you think it's important for us to support those entrepreneurs from a minoritized background? There's a lot of business support out there, but what Trampoline does is we have a very specific audience who might not have same access to those more expensive programs. So, why do you think it's important that we support them?
I mean, statistically, business surviving after a year or two is very low. I can't remember the percentage, but
I think it's 95% fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah. So knowing that information, we want to make sure that we can give support for people who can, know why people fail and what is the type of infrastructure you have to build within your business, even from the beginning, that you don't fail. So I think what's important also that the growing entrepreneurs are actually Black women. But when you speak to people, even I've spoken to someone who's actually quite famous, they've got a business, and they said they've never had no business advice or support. And so they're now they've opened up physical venues, but they've never had anything. So there will come a point where that will become problematic. So I think it's really important that, especially, with people who are literally investing their own money at times, their savings or taking part of their wages to invest in their business, that they get the right support to know what it is, even if they don't implement all of it, but they know what it is they need to implement to be a successful business or be more successful. And our rate of people who actually continue their business and after finish the course is much higher.
Yeah, I think just to add on, like as you said, Jay, minoritized. We have a different definition of minoritized at Trampoline. We're not looking at the traditional BAME or female-led businesses only. It's minoritized by a lot of different factors. It could be your age, it could be your gender, it could be your income level, it could be access to opportunities. A lot of time we've also found like middle-aged white men to be the new minoritized groups, because all the services are now targeting to either black-owned businesses or female-owned businesses. I'm not saying there's abundance of opportunities, but some of the business people that we have supported now face that kind of barriers as well. If we were not there, they wouldn't be able to kind of access this kind of support and then grow their business. So we're not only looking at traditional kind of definitions of minority, but we're looking at all access to opportunities and then resources, and then see who each group have kind of what access. So we want to make sure like we're not leaving behind any people,
Yeah.
and all of them get those opportunities.
Yeah. To add to that, is a trampoline is not just, like you mentioned, it's not just for black entrepreneurs or female led. We cater for everyone. So, if you have disability,
Yep.
if you're barrier to finance, income, sexual orientation, we cater to everyone, which it can be hard sometimes, but that's what trampoline does. Like, our programs are tailored to everyone. So on that, Niraj, head of program, how would you tailor programs so that, like you mentioned, not too intimidating, but still have the value?
Right. So we have a pretty standard kind of target for entrepreneurs. As we said, we work with, depending on our program, we work with either pre-start, startup, or just recently incorporated businesses. So currently we have two different programs. The biggest one called the Southern Pioneers Fund Program, where we are working with businesses, either conceptual, they've just got ideas, they are piloting, they've tested the ideas, they want to now take it to the market. Businesses that are operational, who just started or kind of recently started, and then people that want to start thinking about scaling, not really scaling, but now they want to think about, okay, they've been operational for a couple of years, now they want to think about scaling. So because this is a very big difference in some people with just ideas, some people with already operational, we want to bridge that gap closer as they move along to the program. That's why our structure is loosely based around group delivery as well as one-to-one check-ins. So we give them enough opportunities, those with ideas. So even when with the first time we meet them, we do the one-to-ones, and if they are on ideas, we always say them, okay, program starts 2 months. What can you do in 2 months? Can you turn this idea into a concept note that you can say, okay, this is my target group, this is my audience. So when you come to the session and when you're sitting with other people who are slightly more advanced than you don't feel intimidated, and then you can also take the learning. So when designing the program, I think it's important to look at who the target audience is. And then once you know your audience, then you try and make it so that they get the most out of the program, and it doesn't take a lot of their time, so they don't have to commit to come every week, every other week. And then you also look at like what's the knowledge gap there, like the people that you're targeting. For example, we have a program for health and wellness, so social entrepreneurs who want to start looking at community support around well-being, mental health, public health, access to resources, and like that. So in that program, we're a bit more direct in terms of the topics and the support we provide. It's not very diverse like the Pioneers Fund, where we're talking about the borough and all the other different ecosystems that exist in the borough. It's mostly niche around wellness and well-being, how the landscape is and what kind of challenges they face within that space, and what kind of compliance issues they might have. So depending on the audience and the cohort we have, we kind of try and target our delivery towards that.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, these programs, they cover a range of topics. So, someone might come through and they might want to be building their skill set in marketing.
Yep.
Or maybe it's more networking based, or there's a specific thing that they're looking for. Most of the programs cover a range of topics, and they run for 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, between 6 and 9 months.
6 to 9 months. So, when they join, they have access to all this different information. And like you said, there's the tailor support as well, which, is a big focus at Trampoline. doing that mentoring sessions, the one-to-one business surgeries.
Yep.
So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the business surgeries.
Okay.
How can one access them, and who's eligible for them as well?
Right. So at Trampoline, we run weekly business surgeries for entrepreneurs who are within our program as well as who are not within our program. So if you are someone just looking for information, advice, guidance, you want to talk about compliance, or you just thought of an idea and you want to bounce it off someone who might give you concrete ideas into how to now structure it into actionable steps. We do ad hoc business surgeries that's available to book online. So all you need to do is go to Trampoline's website. You will find business surgeries. If you scroll down, you will find somewhere that mentions weekly business surgeries. And then you will be able to book it. Just select. We do it on a hybrid basis, so you just have to select either you want to come in person here at the Enterprise Hub, or you want to do it online. And then that session you can talk with a business coach from Trampoline who will guide you on any inquiries, any topics, or any questions you have.
Yeah. So, it's one thing having a perfect program, and have all the good content, but you need to be able to reach the audience and get people in.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to our audience, they might not have the motivation.
Right.
So they might even see the ad that says free business support today, but they might not feel confident enough to kind of take that step. And that's where outreach comes in. Actually going out there, identifying these people, telling them what's available to them. And it's not always clear like what opportunities are available to you. And some people, they have that negative mindset that I'm from a certain background, so I'm not, I can't do that, or I probably don't have access to that. So as head of outreach, Rosalyn, what would you say? Like how do you go about outreach, and how effective is it compared to just marketing on social media?
Well, if I start off with the market on social media, so if you're marketing on any big platform, especially on the internet, it's going out to everyone and anyone. And our programs, particularly our programs, the Enterprise Hub is slightly different, but with our programs, they're funded.
Mm-hmm.
So within that funding, there is specific people we're targeting. So though we're open to everyone within one level, but in a deeper level, we're kind of not, because we are funded by people who want us to target a specific group who do not get access. So with the outreach, it has to follow the same line. It's like looking at, okay, who is a target group that we agree that we're going to go for, and where could they possibly be within a space? So if I'm looking at the target group, typically traditionally we want to reach, or what the funders want us to reach, we have to think about where are they. So they will be in some plush, not naming a big brand, but a co-working space. You have lush space and you pay £500 a month. Yep. Are they going to be there? More likely not. Are they going to be in some office, pay-per-use office space? You're paying £1,500 a month? Probably not. So we're looking at spaces, so when we're looking at actually, you can think about spaces, where would they possibly be? They're going to probably be in spaces which cost them nothing. Mm-hmm. So spaces like libraries, maybe lots of community spaces have slightly co-working-ish spaces available, spaces where people can come and use. So we're going to go to those spaces. We're looking at coffee shops, have spaces where they allow people to use, maybe just spend a little bit of money, but it's not going to cost as much as going to one of those nice co-working, like Google's type spaces. So we go into the spaces where we're more than likely we'll find the people who'll be interested in our cohort. And so also we're coming on board our cohort. Also we're looking at who is the type of people who we normally attract. We attract people who are product based. Yep. So we're going to go to spaces where there's product based people who won't get access to coming on a program, not because they don't want to, they don't have the time. Mm-hmm. They're busy making and selling their product. They got time to be looking at. They haven't got time to go on the internet to look, other than to market their own product.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to go in spaces where we know we're going to meet the type of people that we want on the program. So we go into, like I said, we go into markets. We'll go into religious spaces. We go into spaces where like libraries or where there's parents. We go into schools. So what we to try and do with our outreach is make sure that they have access to the information. They say in sales, it takes someone to be presented with the same information 7 times before they buy. So the more spaces we can make sure there's leaflets in, more spaces we can go and give small talks with other community organisations and running things, organisations who marry and kind of have similar kind of direction as us, but maybe not do the same thing as us, connecting with them and making sure we're there, we're visible, people know who we are. We connect with community leaders who know the community.
Yeah.
We go on estates. We make sure it's on boards. So we make sure that information is everywhere, and then we have engagement. Go out and talk to people, go to markets, go to networking events within the community, go to events that people are pulling on, even events that some of our cohorts are pulling on, and being there, have a table, and just start building authentic relationships with people where we are offering more and not actually demanding from them. So we say, like, look, we're here, this is what we offer, come be part of our family, be part of our ecosystem. Yeah. So our aim is to offer more than what we're demanding from them, because we know already that the people we're looking to attract, their life is already demanding.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of time with outreach. It's also the first barrier of why I should join this program, or why is it free? What is there something trade-off? Do I have to pay at certain point, or those kind of barriers. This is common with people, and when you're going to community spaces and you're talking with people from marginalized background or people who have had experience of exploitations or vulnerability in their past, are a bit afraid to come out of the cell. So we want to make sure, as part of our outreach, I think the outreach team really does it well, is give them that assurance, give them that ease of mind that this is a program where you can come with no issues, and come with, and we'll try and support you as best as we can, right? But only thing we ask is you come with that entrepreneurial mindset. You're ready to do business, and you want to make the most out of the opportunities available.
And I think also with the outreach is having that authenticity in terms of really meeting people where they're at. Mm-hmm. So in terms of language barrier, so we trying if we were going to community and we know someone who has a connection and could translate, because we don't have that ability at the present time to translate flyers and information in different language, but we try and find people who can maybe explain it in someone's language. We also try and make sure that we help in terms of digital barrier. That's a massive thing. So sometimes a lot of assumptions are made, even with young people. They know how to use things. Some people don't. So it's all ages. So take away them assumptions that we think that everybody's got a computer, everybody's got a smartphone, they know how to go and log in. No, many people don't. And it's not always older people. So making sure that we're available as outreach to help people on board onto our program. Help them to fill in the forms, explain some of the things we're asking as well. Like maybe they don't understand the language, the business language we use. So breaking down that business language. So if there's not a physical person available for someone to dialogue with, then they can't get past those.
Yeah. And like we mentioned, the services are free, but sometimes it's still hard to sell something for free to our audience.
Yeah, I think it's not the selling. That's the hope. I think being authentic is saying, you know what I mean? We are here. How can we help you? Mm-hmm. So I think as soon as you get into the selling thing, that's where it becomes difficult. Yeah. It's really kind of like, we're here. How can we help? We've got this that can help you. We got that can help you. Mm. We're not looking for nothing from you. We want to help you to get better. We want to help you elevate your life up. We know you can do it. And I find, when I've done mentoring sessions with people, it's like you find that many people don't have no cheerleaders. There's no one encouraging them. Yep. They might be the only person in their family, in their network, in their friends group is entrepreneurs. So I think the biggest thing you find from many people is being in a space of like-minded people that they can connect with who speak in the same language. Yeah. And I think it's that what makes people stay and feel more empowered.
Yeah, it's the accountability that you get because there's someone who's there checking up on your progress and saying, hey, what have you been up to in the last couple of months? Are you doing things? Are you kind of actioning what you said you would? Also, on the topic of free, what I would like to say is the program is not free, it's subsidized. Someone else is paying for you to get the support for free. So if you are not serious, then we would rather someone else get that spot. So we make it clear from the get-go. So they're not just so it's free, they just join and then never bother turning up. We want to make sure only serious people come and do this courses.
You have to be committed.
Yeah.
So you are paying with your time because it's your time commitment. So we try and stay away from the word free because it's like there is a time commitment and it is time you got to put. If you're really serious about the program, the master classes are not half an hour. Yeah. You have to commit to that, and there is assessment kind of along the way to make sure you learn, you implement it in your business. There's all these, so there is a commitment and there is some value of your own value that you need to put in within a program as well.
Yeah. And I think we have a lot of members who sign up, but a few weeks later they might turn around and think, this isn't for me. But it's only through that experience and, actually understanding what it takes to run a business, they understand. They might, on day one, they're like, yeah, I've got this business idea. I'm ready. I'm ready to put the work in. But when you start holding them accountable and, they see that they can't, whether it's commitment or whatever it is. But coming back to, like you mentioned, it's not about selling. It's more about being authentic and building trust. How important is that for our audience?
With the type of people that we're looking to track, is vitally important. So you may be going into communities where they may be let down in different ways. Maybe they've been promised things, and it's not delivered. Yeah. People have come in and said they're going to do this, then they don't. So it's really important that we build trust and honesty and be transparent. We always say and we always encourage, don't make promises that you can't keep. So we don't make promises to our entrepreneurs that we actually can't keep. So don't say, oh yeah, we're gonna give you funding of £10,000. That's to get them in on the program. Mm. This is not the truth. Yeah. And one is like, we can't guarantee that. We don't have that kind of money, So it's really about being very authentic and being very honest and transparent about what we can give, what we can help with, what we can do, and meet them at that point, and then, helping them to break down the barriers. Because there's certain things we cannot help with. Okay. We're not doctors, we're not surgeons, we're not psychiatrists, we're not bankers unless Niraj has got a hidden little stash somewhere. I don't know. So we have to be, really kind of like what we can with what we can do. And then, what we try and do is make sure that we can signpost them to maybe other agencies that can help. So we'll signpost people, even sometimes when people are not ready. Sometimes there's a layer they need to go to. Maybe they need some more help in another area. And once they've got that help, they can come back to Trampoline and then onboard in one of our programs or access our help. But we're very hot on signposting, and we work with other partners and agencies so that we can direct people to get the help so that they can stay on the program if they've got challenges.
Yeah. I think it's also about managing expectations. Sometimes people might have a lot of expectations with the program, which might be unrealistic, and it's our duty to let them know, like, we're not able to offer you everything. It's a business support program. You, as a founder, will have to put in the work and the effort. If you want to get value out of this program, this is not like a magic thing that you come and after 6 months, your business is like, 2x or 10x. Mm-hmm. So it's a journey. Like, we're here with you along that journey, but it's you. That's why, like, all of our sessions, we kind of expect you to remember, right? Appointments, session, events, deadlines. It's not our responsibility. As you are a business owner, you should understand certain things like how to manage appointments, how to manage your time, resources, when to come, when the deadline is. So we give enough notice, like reminders, but we don't kind of call, why did you not come to this session, and kind of ask people personally reasons for dropping out or reasons for not continuing. because we all of us are grown ups here, and if you are gonna be a business person, you're thinking of being a serious entrepreneur, you gotta learn the basics.
And you've got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, it's really essential, particularly once I've done the master classes and if they get the opportunity to do mentoring, is that we don't chase you. You book an appointment, either you turn up or you don't turn up. That's up to you, your decision, because these are the type of things, these are the type of qualities that you need to develop to be a successful entrepreneur or business owner. Even if your business is very much a self-employed type of thing, it's still, you have to have that discipline. You have to take responsibility from your decisions. So if you book an appointment and you're not available to come, it's for you to come back and say, I'm not available. You know, we're not, because I think sometimes, and I think the other thing about making sure that we supporting people, we also kind of have to take on board that some people have not been in this type of scenario for decades.
Yeah.
The last time that maybe was at school or college or uni. And so there's a big gap. So sometimes they think that you were going to hold their hand and, check it. And it's not that type of relationship. This is a adult relationship. This is a business relationship. This is a corporate type of setting where we're here to support, but we're not going to hold your hand in that way. We'll guide you, but we're not going to spoon feed you. And I think it's, sometimes that can be a little bit challenging getting that across, but we, again and again, we try and emphasize that in different ways throughout what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it comes back to we're very transparent from day one. It's not, if you sign up to this program, you're guaranteed 10K or 5K grants. We let our members know that don't come just for the money.
Yes.
That's not the right mindset. And like I said, we're not like a business that will say, if we can't help you, we're not going to tell you who can. We're very, we're very quick to say, oh, we know someone who could help you, guide them and send them the right way. So, on that, what would you say? What should people, what kind of value should they be looking for when signing up to the programs, and what should they be expecting instead of just money and, becoming a millionaire overnight?
Right. So the biggest thing I would say is, as Rosalyn mentioned before, accountability, right? So it's very hard working in isolation. If you're thinking of a business idea and you want to get something out there, it's very important you surround yourself with people and you share your vision to as many people as you can, because if it's just in your head and you're constantly thinking about it, some people kind of change things a lot because it's not validated. So it's a very good platform if you are ideating to validate your ideas. Also, if you're piloting to test your products or services with an actual cohort members, kind of business mentors or facilitators, ask them questions, run your ideas off someone, have accountability in place. As well as you grow along and as you become a bit more serious, it also gives you guides around policies, around kind of operational things that you need to put in place, around how do you manage your suppliers, how do you do your inventory system, what kind of regulations apply to you. You want to learn about taxation, registering your business, like what entity you want to be and what the trade-offs between a CIC and a private limited company. If you're self-employed, what would you do with your kind of benefit system as well, because a lot of people might come from a benefit background, that you might be on universal credit and you're thinking of doing a business. You want clarity around those things, but you still want support. And the biggest thing I think the program offers is to be amongst other like-minded entrepreneurs, have a community of entrepreneurs, alumni, and cohort members who are there available for you to ask questions, for you to get resources from. So I think I would say that's the biggest value the program offers.
Yeah, and there's a range of different programs and events. Not just, you're going to come to a course and you're going to just sit through the sessions, you head down. It's more than that. We try to vary it out and give the opportunity to network. Then we share the resources, the links. So yeah, how as head of program, how do you go about deciding what kind of networking events, topics to kind of focus on?
Yeah, so we are always experimenting because we want to give the best experience to our service users. Some of the programs, as they are funded by local authorities, has a structure in place, so we don't have much liberty around changing because it's budget and all that. So there are structures around delivery already, so we would already have X number of classes, X number of kind of peer events or networking events. But the networking events itself, we can structure the engagement, the way we're going to do it, the speakers that can come and speak at that event. So we try and give the best during those events, but also when we're bidding for new events, we always try and come up with new innovative ways of running a course because we have had experience. So we've already delivered 3 years of the SPF program. We had the startup support program for 2 years now. And we've done a lot of other kind of one-off events, one-off incubation and startup training programs before. So all that experience and all that knowledge comes in place.
Yep.
As we are transitioning into the enterprise hub, we're gonna make sure like our events and our classes and the opportunities to learn and network is gonna go up significantly because we now have a base where we can operate and run those events because we used to have to pay to host our event at other places, but now we want to make sure we amplify that opportunities for you, not just for your service users but for the people of the community. If you're from South London, you're an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily have to be in our cohort or a member to come to one of our networking events. You can just pop in and meet with other like-minded entrepreneurs. So yeah, that's kind of the way we kind of streamline our services as well as try and do something different, something that kind of brings value to the people year on as we go along.
Yeah, and also you're looking at doing coffee mornings. And previously we used to do pop-up market, and we're looking to probably look at that again. But that gives people who are new to trading, have products, never had any experience of actually going out onto a market and learning how to do that, because it's one thing getting the theory, there's nothing thing is practically, how am I going to sell this item and is someone going to buy this item? So, coming through our program and working within an ecosystem enable people to get feedback, to get some
constructive criticism.
Feedback around their product, their service, so that and getting businesses used to that. Because I know when also had businesses, and when people feed you back, you could get offended
sometimes.
Because it's like,
offend you.
It's my baby, it's my how dare you? So I think being in this ecosystem allows you to go like, no, it's not. They're not trying to berate what you're doing or talk down or be critical in a negative way. It's to help you to improve, that you can have a product or service that actually someone will want to exchange finances. Because ultimately you don't have a business until someone actually pays for your service or product. So until that happens, it's that you've got an idea which you want to be a business, but until that monetary thing is exchanged, you don't have a business.
Yeah, and we always say don't get too attached to an idea because ideas might change.
Exactly. It's, and then someone might you think someone's taking your idea. It's just that they were more ready than you to move with it. So people in different positions who can move with ideas quicker. So it's really important that you be realistic, about your business, and that it may not stay. Especially when you come on our program, so many people, as you could test them out to this, that they come with one thing, and as they get the information and knowledge, they've had to change. Because it's like, one, no, I don't want to buy it, or two, it wasn't the right fit for them. I mean, I had one mentee, she came and wanted to, I think it was sells hair products and whatever. And when the time I spoke to her in her first kind of like one-to-one, so we always have one-to-one meetings with anyone who comes on our program. I said to her, what do you I could see that she wasn't that really interested. And I said, what do you really want to do? She says, I want to be a rapper. And now she's an artist. She's cutting her music. Yeah. But she came, nothing to do with that. She just wanted something to generate money. So you have to not be too attached enough to be passionate about driving your business forward and being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, but not attaching how that might kind of morph maybe into something even greater.
Yeah.
I think on that note, just quickly I want to add is like, what I see a lot of time is a lot of people come with ideas and even like things they think on their head, like this might be good and this could be a viable business, but a lot of times those ideas don't stick because their ethos and their values don't align with their ideas. So if you're someone who's very passionate about wellness and well-being, you're not probably gonna look at doing a restaurant or like what I'm saying is, or a fashion business. You might do fashion, but you might want to look at sustainable fashion or kind of upcycling. So it has to kind of merge with the values you hold and what you're trying to achieve, because a lot of people miss that, and that's one of the key things, like a genuine care for the thing that you're trying to do. That is what separates someone who is just an idea to someone who is more serious and wants to hit the ground running.
Yeah. And I think with everything Trampoline does or teaches is always to do it in a sustainable, ethical way. It's not just a matter of, making money. It's about how can you do it sustainably and ethically. So just to add to what you mentioned, going back to the topic of how transparent we are, we obviously have a screening, like, applications. And so what is the purpose of that? And, how do we kind of do that?
So during our onboarding, once people apply, we usually do a one-to-one assessment. During that session, we usually ask people what stage their business is at. And based on the stage that you tell us, okay, if you're conceptual, what we want to see is, what have you done so far? If you're just ideas, there are people who are aspirational. So they're just like the idea of being an entrepreneur. They don't really have a business idea. Those people, I would say, do a bit more research, do more prospecting, look at areas you're passionate about, come with an idea. Because without a business idea, just liking the idea of being an entrepreneur is not enough.
Yeah.
No.
And then there are people who come with ideas, they want to do certain things, where we deep dive into, do you have the resources that to do this? Do you have the expertise, the knowledge? And how much you have done so far? Do you already have a website? Do you already have suppliers? Do you already have inventory system? Do you already have a bookkeeping system? So this kind of information allows us to see the seriousness of the participant, how much time they spend doing their business, how much money they've invested so far, if they are making any money, or if they are kind of pre-launch, or if it's pre-revenue. Then depending on that, we are able to guide them better. So what we usually do is, at the end of those assessments, we refer them to either our program, we refer them to our main cohort, or our light touch support if they do not have time commitment to make through the sessions, or if they're just looking at light touch resources. And other than that, we also refer to other organizations, as Rosalyn said before. To other entities if you're like way advanced, way serious, and if you feel like this program is not the right fit for you, we do refer you to other organizations. So, and also before you come to the session, after the one-to-one, we give you pointers for you to work on, so you are prepared. As I said before, some people have these ideas on their head and they only have one-dimensional thinking sometimes. Like they were just thinking about that, and when someone says, okay, have you thought about the other way, like maybe this business you can do something but also do like a subscription, or also you can do like a workshop, and then people are like, oh wow, I've never thought about that. Okay, maybe I'll do that as well. So look at how you diversify your revenue, how to be more resilient, and it's not like you just go on a 6-month sprint and then you waste all your resources. I mean, the amount of people I speak to who say, I've already invested 5 to 10K money, and then they have turned zero revenue. It's astounding. Like, people put money because they're passionate, but they're not really serious about, or they have not thought about how the money is going to come in. They just invest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, leading on from that, we really do encourage business to have money stream, particularly in this type of climate we're in. You can't just have one source of where your income's coming in, even if it's under the same heading but different aspect. So you might bake cakes, maybe you can teach people how to cook and do lessons like that, but kind of maybe diversify so that if one area starts getting a bit dried up and you're not getting as many customers, you've got enough area that you can actually generate money from. And it doesn't have to come outside your field, but you need to think in a wider umbrella kind of thing of a thought process of like, how do I compartmentalize my business in different ways? So I can offer different services, or I can offer different products, or I can offer teaching people, or online, offline, these different things, because it's like we look at the reality of the climate we're in at the moment, and we don't want to pretend that it's not difficult. We know it's difficult. People need to think about how do I traverse something like a lockdown?
Yeah.
And we've seen that some business people made millions during lockdown, and other people, big organisations, they've closed down.
Devastating.
Yeah. So we have to kind of look at that. How do you mitigate that?
Yeah, just on something like that, it's like something like outreach during lockdown and being able to, do outreach, but then it's understanding that, okay, I still have access to social media. Jump on that.
Exactly.
Now let me start attracting my audience for that instead of having to.
Or do I have a database? Do I have a list of email addresses of people, past clients? We always have a database of people who have gone on our programs. Can I utilize that to get information out? And then maybe they can do word of mouth and spread it to people they know. So I think you have to kind of think through these, do a risk assessment really on your business, and how can you always make sure you're able to generate income.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's more situational, and also it depends on the person who's trying to do the business. Do you have the right skill set to be able to do what you're trying to do? And is this the right time for you to start or invest or diversify? A lot of people struggle around those things because in their mind, if they do it right, this is a very good and lucrative business. But there are a lot of factors in play, like competitions, or people's purchasing or spending power has gone down, so they might not be able to afford it anymore. So there's a lot of things that plays out. So people need to be a bit more mindful around investing a lot of money early on without kind of validating those ideas and without making enough revenue to kind of sustain their businesses. That's what I would kind of highlight.
I think it's, at Trampoline, we try and myth bust as well. Like, not many people have that Instagram business. But it went from 0 to $250,000 in 6 months. We really myth bust that. That is highly unlikely, unless you got some sort of product that you produce which just kind of goes viral and then it goes global very quickly. But that's a minute. It's like, there's something happening in the back way. If it's real, there's a whole lot of infrastructure layers. They got access to things that you could never dream of. But, but the reality is people take time, build their business step by step. And then you can go, we've had mentees and participants who've done our program and gone, woof, and they're just, we never see them again. They're doing so well, they're successful, but they had the foundation right in the first place. I think it is that, having that solid foundation.
What do you think sets the cohort members that go on to do big things that are quite successful compared to the ones that drop out early? They just burn out. What do you think sets them apart?
I think it's commitment. If they're commit, and I think the two, what I always say to people from the first time I meet them, do your research. Research the area you're going into. Know the competitors. You don't have to compare yourself with them, but you can learn from them. You can find out where their gaps is, so that you don't have to go through a lot of challenges and things to get to that point. But you've got to commit, and you must do your research.
I think one chart comes to my mind. Jay might put the chart up later, but it's called the Gartner's Hype Cycle. And there's this chart that goes like this, comes down, and then like this. So usually the first part of it is a peak of inflated expectations. So a lot of people, when they start, they quickly get to the top. Like, your families like your products, the first few products sell well, and you're like very high, okay, I can do this. This is something I can take off with. And then the next part is it just goes downhill. That's when it's called the valley of despair, where nothing is going on, you're just struggling. That's when most of the businesses quit. But if you can sustain that, it's because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? You're not going to be successful in a couple of months. You got to weather some of the challenges. So that's when you could go to this plateau of productivity. That's what Gartner talks about, like technology or new adoptions, usually AI as well. When we saw like AI was doing so well, everybody was like, yeah, it's going to take over the world. And then at some point, people are like, it's just hallucinating now. It's just spewing nonsense. Now we're seeing some of the real life applications. So it's the same with startups, I think. If you can weather that storm, you're gonna succeed eventually. But you gotta weather that storm.
Yeah. I think it's consistency, isn't it? The main one. Being consistent, not expecting overnight success, and gradually like seeing that small progress and getting to the end point. And the point of looking at competitors, the market, don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's very rare that you're going to have an idea that no one ever thought of. There's going to be someone out there who's got a similar cake to you, whatever it is. So, look at it, get inspired. Obviously, don't copy it one for one, but like get inspiration, and it's
take a little bit.
Yeah.
Do it in your own way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think networking is key as well. I think if I think about the businesses that have come through and are still going, they've networked and have collaborated.
Yeah.
I know there's some people who are a bit kind of collaborating. When you come on a program like this or any of our programs or you're in our ecosystem, there's an opportunity to talk to people. You'll find someone you resonate with. And plus, I think the benefit is like coming through of anything what Trampolines doing is that, they've done something. They've invested. They've learned. They've got the basics. The people that you're going to connect with, they've got the basic business acronym that you can say, okay, they kind of know what they got going on here. I can trust that they've got certain things put in place. And it's to do your due diligence and check, if you're going to work with other people, check that they've got everything in place so that you don't get into a situation where, you fail because you didn't do a check on somebody else and their business was. So I think this collaboration and networking is key as well.
Yeah. And I know you're big on encouraging startups or our cohort members to make noise and be confident in what they sell. I've been in a few sessions where people are a little bit reserved and they don't want to share too much about their business. What would you say to that, Rosalyn? Because you need to make some noise, otherwise no one's going to know. There could be the perfect partnership in this room, but if you don't talk about that idea, that partnership's never going to happen.
I think you have to. I think people have gone through experiences and they not share. So maybe they have shared before and they've got burnt.
Yeah.
So there might be a reason why they're not sharing. So I'm always kind of sensitive to the fact that you need to probably get to know people, build relationships, and find out like why don't you want to share. And they might have something very, very unique, and that's the best thing is not to share with other people. So I think, and then also I think there's a whole thing about you got to put yourself out there. No, you just need your product needs to be out there. So it's not you, someone else. Some people are just not going to do this. They're not going to do a podcast. They're not going to show their face in front of the camera. They're not going to do anything like this. But they either got to have someone who does, or their product has to be the face. They have to create the product into something that people will not be interested in the person, but you still got a story. I think what people buy into is your story. Your story don't have to be personally you. Because there's people out there who got products and services, you've never seen who they are.
Yep.
There's some of the top coaches in the world, they don't have no publicity, they don't have no LinkedIn pages, don't have nothing. But they're still the top coaches in the world, but you don't know who they are.
Yep.
So, but I think what you offer has to be really good and polished and it sells itself. So you have your whole marketing and advertisement and the story behind your product or service has to be on point, that you don't need to be in it. So I think, or you get a face for your business.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, we live in a world where the person sells now. Like with TikTok, Instagram, you can know nothing about the product, or, you can make something and hire a team, but people buy just because you're the face.
Yeah.
So endorsements now, like with TikTok influencers. It can be, a famous singer. She knows nothing about the product she's selling, but people want to buy it just because she's the face.
Exactly. Like Coca-Cola.
It's got
Everyone
to do,
buys Coca-Cola. You don't know. There's no face attached to it.
No.
it's got to do with the kind of, I like to say it's Hollywood brainwashing, like the $1 million idea. Like you could have a next $1 million idea, but ideas itself is not enough to generate $1 million. Like, do you have the capacity to? Some people are kind of secretive because they think someone might steal the idea, or they think it's so brilliant that they don't want to. They would rather not share. So, I mean, a lot of time people might be introverted, or they might have kind of, as Rosalyn said, been burned before. They shared publicly and were kind of humiliated. But oftentimes I think that it's the later where they would rather not share, and they think like this is something that has a lot of potential and people might copy. That could be one of the reasons.
Yeah.
And I would say, just to add in, as for those out there who's like that, there's you can share without sharing everything.
Just share enough.
Share enough. I mean, I think there's people on social media now. Why would you share the way you maybe plait someone's hair or the blend you make in your product? I don't understand when people share that, because then you've given it all away. So I think there's some oversharing, a lot of oversharing that is done. But I think, like you said, I think there's an aspect that people can share. There's always your USP that you want to keep to yourself. That thing is you share, like when you get to your one-to-one mentoring, or if you've got a coach, if you're not in our program and you're listening, and these are things you say to someone who could give you feedback and advice to help you to develop. But something of your business, because you don't know who that person is who could be the investor. You don't know who that person is who could really help you to push your business to the next level, who can collaborate with you, who could become your partner. So I think there is, trying to tease out of people. You can just tell us the area of your business, the industry you're going to go into, and what is different about what you're going to offer. Something, because you don't know who's in the room. And I say this to people, you don't know who's in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, like you mentioned, like you just need to show enough. You don't need to show everything. But then at the same time, it's a good way to sell when you just show a little bit. But so say like that hair product you mentioned, showing the mixture and stuff. If you show in a quick video, someone might pay you now. Can you like make a step-by-step on how to make that product? Or someone might be too lazy to even watch that video and do it themselves. So they're like, can I just sell this product? So, there's always someone out there that could be your market. It's just a matter of understanding, doing it objectively, not just giving everything away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a famous man who created a pepper sauce range. And they say, his mum's recipe. And it's not his mum's recipe. He made another recipe that he put in the supermarket. Yeah. And the recipe that is actually his family recipe, he's never sold it. He's still got a secret. And so there's like, when you're showing things that you do, show a version of it. It doesn't have to be exactly yours. Yeah. Because like you said, someone might say, I'll pay you to show me how to do that thing step by step.
I think most of the time it's because people don't know who their audience is, or who could kind of they work with, because they haven't given it much thought, right? They come with this idea or business. They probably have developed certain prototypes of products, but they don't understand who to target, right? Because they don't understand what people actually need. Yeah. So if you're not sharing, you're not asking feedbacks, you're not kind of piloting your products, then how would you know like if it's the right product? Somebody might buy it, maybe by luck, but not everyone is your target audience. So oftentimes, as you said, Jay, or even like Rosalyn, those people that are making those videos and posting it online, maybe those are not the people that are going to copy their products. So they know that that's why they're probably doing it. Yeah. Because those people that buy the products might like your process and see, okay, so it's very environmentally conscious, I see you just products. So there are different kind of ways you kind of differentiate yourselves, different USPs. So.
Yeah. So just coming back to, as I was mentioning about the face sales, and people build that trust if they like the person behind the camera who's promoting the product. At Trampoline, our mentors have lived experience, so they know the struggles that our cohort members faced or are facing. So, how do we go about that? As when we're assigning mentors, is there a specific method that you follow to make sure that the right mentors are, with the right?
Right. So coming back to the lived experience question, we have a lot of people who, as a mentor with Trampoline, we work with a lot of freelance and voluntary mentors. So most of them have done businesses in the past themselves, who are still doing businesses. And also, we increasingly, as we go along, people that kind of do our program, graduate, are also invited to come and kind of support the following batch or the following cohorts. So there are people who have actually done the program, did their products launch, and come on and do mentoring. We've had a couple of people who have done that. So there is that lived experience in it. But also, we try and look at the need from someone who is in the program. What's their immediate need? And what are they looking forward to work with the mentor in the mentoring stage? Is it funding that they want to talk about? Is it marketing maybe that they would like help with? Or is it more operational things that they would like, maybe compliance related? So based on that, we try and see who is the right fit. It might not always be the same sector or the industry that you're working with, but it would probably be someone who can support you the best they can within the support kind of range that you've mentioned. So that's the process that we usually follow when allocating mentors.
And next thing I would ask is, for both, what do you think Trampoline does that sets us apart from other business incubators?
So having looked at most of the business incubators across London, most of them, I would say, run purely online, purely kind of a compressed couple of months, very intense incubator programs, whereas we are, as we run a more longer course, which gives more kind of people with a lot of different kind of personal challenges, as well as people who are working part-time or working full-time, working on business ideas on the side, opportunities to progress along. So it's a longer time frame as well. So even if you cannot make time for certain sessions, there's still enough opportunities for you to move along. And as Rosalyn said, I think it's the people we work with and the type of values that we want to bring is a sense of community. You kind of do this. We very much promote ethical businesses as well as circular nature of doing business. So you support Southern businesses, you support other people that where you can from the same cohort, from the same ecosystem. So I think that's really sets us apart because as we've grown Trampoline, increasingly we like to use our own alumni for a lot of things. So we do events, we do catering from our own alumni, people who do business from there. We've used providers such as cleaning contractors, painters, other kind of constructions, as well as other contractors who have done incubation programs from us. So we kind of enforce and kind of preach these things, but we also implement these ourselves. I think that kind of sets us apart, and a lot of people appreciate that. Having done their program 2 years ago, and now Trampoline is asking them to cater for an event that they're hosting, which kind of boosts their confidence as well.
Roger?
I would say that it's the ecosystem, the opportunity for participants to collaborate and connect with one another. Also, that they can really develop their business within Trampoline. I think that's the thing, because our programs are quite long. They can come at the beginning and literally have nothing. They have a concept, they've got something written down, and by the end of it, they can have something tangible. So they may have by the end created a product, or they've got something, but then they've packaged it, or they've got a service and they're delivering it, or they started off, and then they've got funding. It's just seeing that, through that cycle, it's enough time to see someone come in at one point at this level, and by the end of it, they have gone way past even what we expected. I had one mentee that during his mentoring session, he managed to get, 4K grant, for his business. So before he even finished the program, he's seen a benefit already from his investment of taking on board everything that he has learned and implementing it and being able to produce a funding proposal that actually people thought was valuable enough to warrant him getting a grant. So when you see these things, and I think this, and the other thing I want to add that, within our program, we don't manage it, but we encourage each cohort to have their own WhatsApp group. And some of these WhatsApp groups, are still going, and they support and encourage each other. And it's optional. Not everyone has to join if they don't want to. But, they can then peer support. I think that's the beautiful thing. I think they do feel this sense of like they're part of a wider, just not us, doing what we can do for them, and then also it becomes what we can do for each
other. Yeah. And obviously, just to add to that, we obviously have all of this.
Yeah, the enterprise hub.
The enterprise hub. So, on top of all the business support that we give our cohort members, we now have a fully equipped building with all the resources that a startup would need at an affordable price. So, and it's very flexible, so you can book what you need. You can access whether you're in textiles, if you're in a creative space, or if you want to record something for your business in the podcast studio, which we're in right now. Then we've got the co-working space upstairs. Have I missed anything? Meeting rooms.
Yeah.
We've got meeting rooms. So if you're a business and you want to host a session for your team, a training session, you can do that. You can use the co-working space upstairs.
We got 3D printers as well.
3D printer, which, getting a lot of attention now. Yeah, everyone's enjoying that.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing comes back to it's all in one place.
Yeah, exactly.
So on top of the 9 to 12 months business support that you're getting, that's always been something that we've had a lot of feedback on. We still want support, but the program's finished, so what can I do now? Where do I sign up? But now we're in a position where we can actually provide that support.
Exactly. I think it's a continuation on that. It's like we knew that, okay, we've supported these people, then they're asking for things and we cannot give them. And so now we can say, well, here you go. If you don't want to work from home, or you can't work from home, we've got somewhere you can come and work from. If you want to keep and continue networking and connecting with other entrepreneurs, that space is there. If you want to do an event, why not come and do it here? If you want to run a training program, we have rooms. If you want to make stuff, we have sewing machines, we have this, we have that, we have a 3D print, and we have a larger screen if you want to come and design, and see your design in a bigger format. So it's now we can give them this continuation on, so where some of them are kind of got to a plateau when they finish the program, they can now continue to develop without having to think about spending large amounts of finances, like you said, buying equipment when they're just at the inception stage of just taking a business up to a point where they can actually now offer their service or product out there or develop themselves. Because it's one of the person I mentioned before, who's an artist, she's coming in here and she's going to be using this space to actually record her music. So we're not fixed on how this space is used. We're saying, come and use it. Whatever you're doing, we're trying to support and adapt it to suit whatever your needs are. But there's a lot of facilities there. And then we're open to feedback. If you come and you see that, I know a lot of people who want this, we will look at it and have discussions and say like, oh, maybe we can bring that in if we know there's a demand for it. So this is a place which I think will become very organic and grow as the members and people join and use the space. It will develop and grow so that we can continually to meet the needs of the entrepreneurs and startups that we serve.
Yeah, I think it's part of the hub. So running the programs was one thing. A lot of people always used to ask, what next? Like, they don't have access to resources. Equipments are very costly, especially if you are at the inception stage, you're not making a lot of revenue. You want to try out products. You want to trial something. You don't have a space to meet client meetings, right? You want to be surrounded with other entrepreneurs. I think the hub itself will offer a lot of those things, especially because we're not looking at established businesses to come and use our spaces. We're looking at entrepreneurs who are at those early stage or kind of early to mid stages. They're now being serious about running their business. And I think the win for us is for you to use our space for a couple of months or even a year and then move on to a more established premise. That's perfectly fine for us. I think we want you to grow your business. So even the hub itself feels like less for you, and then you look for your own studio or your own kind of an outlet. But that's kind of the idea around kind of scaling up. A lot of time doing something from your home. There's not so much you can only do there. The natural next steps for you is to come and use our facilities, and then maybe once you grow big, you can kind of take off and have your own spaces. So that's kind of the progressions we want to see with a lot of our entrepreneurs.
Yep. And just to add to that, obviously, it's subsidized. So if you're eligible, you get it at a discounted price. Like all of the services we have, try to make it accessible to everyone.
Well, the subsidise is for our cohort of people who've been through our program.
Yep.
But even if it's not subsidised, it's still competitive. We've made sure we tried to make the prices accessible, and reasonable based on what is around and where our actual enterprise hub is. So, but also on top of that, you're getting more than that. It's not just you pay for this membership, and it's not a co-working space. It's an ecosystem. It's a hub. It's a place that you can kind of call home, and it's accessible. It's right in the heart of Elephant Castle. So if you do have those business meetings or events, we've got meeting rooms with flashy screens, which you can do, your teams meet with built-in camera and microphone. So if you want to do an international workshop, you could come and do it here. Have some people in person and the rest from around the globe. So we want it to be a space that you come and use often, not just drop in once in a while. So, we don't want to make it beyond people come and use on a regular basis and be part of this ecosystem, be part of this.
Yeah. And like you said, the main thing now is space. Yeah. So any final thoughts?
My final thought is, check out our website, join our newsletter, come and see what we are doing. Come and have a tour of the place. Come and meet with us. Let us know your thoughts and opinions, We're always going to be looking at what new we could bring. So with this new enterprise hub, will be future possibility of us running our own programs, our own capsule sessions. So come and visit us. That's what I'd like to just share. Yeah, come and see us.
Yeah, what I would say is Trampoline welcomes everyone. So even if you're just at that ideation stage, as I said before, come speak with us. If you're not ready to do the full incubation program, you can always come back at another point when we have another program or another cohort. But also, if you are already you want to be part of the program, we very much want to support you along that journey, work with you. Also, you don't necessarily need to be part of the program just to be with Trampoline, because we got this amazing space. You can book the space, use the space, and that gives you access to business support as well. So being a member, you can get business support without doing the full kind of program. You can speak with Trampoline staff as well as some of our business coaches that we have, and make sure you understand all legal compliance as well as other stuff that you need to kind of take care of for your business. So we're here to support you. Just come and speak with us.
Yep. All right, guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.